Foreign Minister, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Governor, Ambassador, and all the dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, and friends of Hawaii. I'm just overwhelmed by this crowd. A few days ago, my wife told me that I think we'll get about 300 people here. The latest report is that you have 650. "34 years ago, a very dear friend of mine, who a year ago was Majority Leader of the United States Senate, became a diplomat, became an ambassador to Japan. And he arrived there. His name was Mike Mansfield, Senator from Montana. And on his arrival, he gave his first speech. And in that speech, he usually speaks for about 10 minutes and no more than that. He said the most important bilateral agreement we have with any country on this globe is with Japan. Bar none. That policy statement has been the foundation of our relationship with Japan all these years. We consider Japan a friend, ally, a partner. And we look upon this relationship as very serious. This relationship, I believe, has brought about peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific area. And from this foundation, we have been able to establish good relations with China, with Korea, and with all countries that are represented here today. Well, 19th century, the 20th century, if one looks back, you must admit that it was a time of war and devastation. But this century is a century of reconciliation. That's why we're assembled here. In May of this year, my dear wife Irene, why don't you stand up, Irene? She's actually my boss. She's the president of the U.S.-Japan Council. She and I visited Toho, and we saw firsthand the devastation of the earthquake, the tsunami, and the destruction of the nuclear plants. But we noted the resiliency of the Japanese. We have watched other disasters. Looting was commonplace. In Japan, there was no looting. I was deeply impressed, and I think the peoples of the world were deeply impressed. As a result of this relationship we have developed and maintained, we have been able to almost automatically raise millions of dollars to help the victims of this great disaster. But I think the great hero is one that's unsung. I'm glad Admiral Walsh is here. Stand up, Admiral. When the disaster hit, the President of the United States got in touch with the Secretary, and the Secretary called the Admiral immediately. We had this carrier task force, the Ronald Reagan task force, on its way to the Middle East. It immediately turned around and went to Turkey. And then there they began their restoration business. It was established to work with the self-defense forces, and there the so-called Operation Tomodachi was born. And I think it's one of the largest humanitarian relief operations that we have participated in as Americans. Over this 4-week period, just about 4 weeks, 24,000 people delivered nearly 200 tons of food, 2 million gallons of water, and about 87 tons of building material. The leadership behind Operation Tomodachi is here. And that's why I wanted to point out Admiral Walsh to you, because he is the unsung hero in this whole operation. Thank you very much for your service. We also have Marcy Greenwood here of the University of Hawaii. They played a major role. And Marcy, stand up. When you have the University of Hawaii, the Pacific Command, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and many other agencies, we come across with how to deal with disasters and reduce the risk. So tonight we're gathered. It's a happy time to celebrate friendship and allies. So let's be thankful for our blessings, commit ourselves on a forward path, because it's in the best interest of our nations and this age and this era. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the important assignment I have, and the one who gives me the assignments, my wife. I'll admit to all of you, I'm handpicked. Are we all handpicked? Because our Constitution says very clearly, we are united to maintain domestic tranquility. Pleasant assignment here is to introduce a great American. He was just appointed by President Obama to be our new Secretary of Commerce. He was sworn in on October 21st, 3 weeks ago. But he is not a stranger to us. For the past 18 years, he was the boss, President, CEO, Edison International. And you talk about energy and electricity, you talk to Mr. Bryson. He knows Asia because he's helped them set up these programs. And tonight we are fortunate to have with us the key member of our President's economic team, Mr. Bryson.
I really can't express the pleasure, the real honor that I feel in being with all of you tonight. Senator Inouye, Irene Inouye, they played a crucial role in my becoming the Secretary of Commerce. And they wouldn't want me to say a lot about the occasion that brought us together. But I was invited as I was going through the confirmation process in the United States Senate. It seemed to me to take forever. And I was faster than many others, but still seemed forever, because I wanted to get in and help and do something. And they invited me to join the senator's wife, in the United States Capitol, in the appropriation offices that are the most beautiful piece of the United States Capitol I've ever seen. And there are several of these offices, and the offices above all honor Senator Inouye's extraordinary leadership. extraordinary leadership over all these years. And you, people of Hawaii, have recognized his principled and sound and gracious and decisively important leadership over all these years. So it's just a great, great pleasure for me to be with you. We went over to the Senate dining room. I asked the Senator, Senator, do you have any insight into why this moved as slowly as it did? And of course, being in the position of the senior-most senator, the person I believe most respected across the United States Senate, had to make only one call, and then quietly came back and he said to me something I won't quite share with you, but it's an entirely accurate prediction of when I would be confirmed as president. Say just one more thing. I'm so honored to be here with the band council, with leaders of that great, great country, that great friend and neighbor of ours, Japan. And Japan is where I dedicated quite a large part of my career working with the Japanese and the several things that we did in Asia, and we did many of them together. And then finally, whether the people of Hawaii fully understand the extent to which this is not only a wonderful marriage, but it is a leadership kind of marriage. Because if you live, as I have, so many years in Los Angeles, one cannot know Los Angeles, cannot know the Japanese American community, or the Japanese National Museum, American National Museum, and multiple of the large and most important elements of Los Angeles and the Japanese relationship without knowing Irene, Toronto, Inouye. It's just a great work. Hey, thank you. Let me say just one last thing and I'll stop. And that is, you know, and I saw around the group so many of you that I've now met and renewed friendships with over these last 3 days of being here. And what has struck me so often is to know that I had my 7th grade year at Kaimuki Junior High School. Where I was the howly kid. Without any doubt, and now I have this wonderful reception. I thank you for everything.